Hello folks, I have been imaging the sun this morning, and there's a good bit of activity on the surface, a number of sunspots and some regions of interest that I'd sure like to image, but there's even a more interesting prominence that it's a massive prominence, and so I want to share that with you. And let's head over to the sun, and right now you should see the surface of the sun. This is a overexposed surface, and I need to overexpose it to show this prominence, and I'm going to bring it back just a little bit by moving south here, kind of centering the prominence in the center of the crosshairs and taking a few frames because I want a good image of it. And so we're taking 1,000 frames right now, but this is massive. I'm going to estimate that from the surface of the sun to the top of this is in the neighborhood of 1,000,000 miles. Which is just crazy. You could probably stack 200, 300 Earth-sized planets on top of each other to get here. It's just huge. And I'm going to guess, although I have no real idea, surely I'm not an authority on the sun, but I'm going to guess if this prominence behaves like a lot of proms do, that at some point in time gravity and the magnetic forces on the surface of the sun will start pulling this back to the surface, and these gases will return, and they'll do that in an arc-like fashion. You'll start arcing in one direction or the other, and then eventually disappear. But this had to be a massive, massive explosion to push those gases this high in the sun's atmosphere, because the gravity is massive. So this just had to be a wicked solar mass ejection for this to have happened. I don't know of any other way to image it either. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to get. Now I'll be able to turn this into a more detailed image in processing, but I want to try to focus a little better. And let's move the focuser about 10 steps out and see if that helps. We can try zooming in a little. And I have to do that by cropping over here. That's just ridiculous. My goodness. This is a live view of the sun, and you're looking at a solar mass ejection that is probably in the neighborhood of 1,000,000 miles high. And whatever happened on the surface of the sun to cause this massive explosion to shoot these gases this high is beyond me. Now, we're in the middle today of getting the results from a solar mass ejection that's headed towards our planet. It's not going to hit us directly. If it did, we would be fried. If this prom came straight at our planet, we would be cooked. It would be the end of the earth. Everything would be over. But you almost have to consider the probability of that happening, because you could put 1 million Earth-sized planets inside the sun. So 95 million miles away, the Earth is just a little old dot. And for one of these ejections to target and hit the Earth, it can happen, but it is in the realm of statistics and probabilities, not likely. But those ejections can get reasonably close to Earth, and it affects our satellites, our radio wave controlled devices like our broadband and narrowband deep space imaging. It would affect our radios, our shortwave, and our traditional radio coverage. You'll have a lot of static. The power grid can be affected by it, and so it's on its way. Let's take another quick capture of 1,000 frames. But I wanted to share that with you because this prom is, I've been imaging the sun now for a number of years. This is the largest I've ever seen. And this past week, while I was imaging the sun, right before the bad weather came, I was imaging the surface, and I saw a bright flare occur. And I stopped imaging, and I overexposed to see what was going on. And that was the second largest prom that I've ever seen. So to be sure, these are some of the largest proms that I've seen in the last 2 weeks ever. And not sure what that means, because we're supposed to be in a solar minimum where activity on the sun is at a minimum, and it cycles every like 11 years. While we're live, what I can do is I can and I will go to take you on a trip around the surface. Let's lower the exposure to about 12, and let's cut the gain down to let's go to 80, and there's our surface. And so let's see if we can't wrong way. I'm going to show you one right over here on the left of the sun is a sunspot that is developed, and over the course of the next few days, that spot will rotate across the surface. Let's go down this way. Here's another spot, and an interesting area, a region to image. You're looking at a live view of the sun, and a few spots. But down here on the right side of the sun, we're getting there in a minute, is a lot of activity, and here we go. There's a nice area of filament activity as well. There's some over here. Now these spots right here are dust spots. There's one down there, and this dark spot right here, that's just dust that's accumulated on the sensor or on the solar filter. So let's go down a little bit more, and then let's Now, I'm noticing something I want to take a look at. I'm going to bet we've got a solar flare that's pretty good size right here. So I'm going to overexpose and see if we do. I see it trying to, it's kind of a nub, but I thought it was going to be a lot larger than that. I've been around the sun several times this morning, and this activity in the other spot is all that I really see going on right now. So let's go back up to the prom that's gone crazy. There she is. We'll have to raise our exposure up to get a good look at it. Folks, that's just impressive. It's very faint, but there are a lot of gases between the bottom part of the most visible part of this prominence. There are a lot of gases that I can see. I'm not sure how on Facebook or YouTube they're going to show up, because they do a lot of compression on these videos, and the sharpness, you'll lose that. But wow, this is just a large area of the solar atmosphere that's really acting up right now. Okay, well, you've had a trip around the sun, and you're looking at one of the largest prominences that I've seen in 7 years, 8 years of looking at the sun. So, wow. Well, have a good day and say something good to somebody, and they're going to appreciate it, and you're going to feel better about having done so. So with that being said, guys, catch you later.